All right, it's been a while since I've done a YouTube. We're in the middle of chili harvest. We're in the middle of onion harvest, oats, and so I'm gonna show you a day in the life, what's going on in July. It gets pretty crazy. Let me show you the chili Chilaca 880 aquí de Shona City, Chihuahua. Right now what we're doing, we're filling up these. We're gonna ship these out for export. And so we sell nationally, and then we're here in Mexico, and we also export green chili. So in the US, you're used to having it being called like green chili, Anaheim chili, Hatch green chili. Here in Mexico and Chihuahua, if you go to the grocery store, this is Chilaca. And so my brand is Chili Chilaca 880, aquí de Shona City. Shona City, Ascension, Chihuahua. That's the nickname for Ascension. But as you see, loading up the trucks. We got onion trucks in the back. It's crazy right now. Here in July, we'll be doing 8 loads of onions every day, 8 of these semis, and then 3 loads of chili every single day. So you can only imagine all the logistics, the people, and it's all hand harvested. And so, man, it gets wild. And so we got all the trucks lined up. So there'll be 11 trucks going out today. You can see some of the chili fields in the background over there. And yeah, just keeping my cool. To get ready for seasons like this, you gotta have good systems, you gotta have good people. So I'm grateful for all the people out here. Well, we've been working as a team for many years, so everyone knows where they're supposed to be. But yeah, let's go check out the fields. I'm gonna go check out the fields. There's nothing prettier than a green chili field in the morning. And so this is what the plants look like. We have some plants like fields like this, and then we got fields that are on plastic. This is just in our blood. So if you grew up in northern Mexico, southern USA like New Mexico, Southern California, Arizona, Texas, green chili, it's just in your blood. Like, it could be an air freshener, and it'll spike your dopamine just smelling that. And so yeah, beautiful fields this year. The weather's been, at the beginning, tons of wind. It was a ton of wind, but it's calmed down, and the weather's been pretty good for chili so far if you made it past the wind. But yeah, that's farming. It gets pretty crazy, depend a lot on the weather, and you just try to do the best job you can. Leave the rest to God, and échale ganas, como decimos aquí en México, hay que echarle ganas. So this is what it looks like when we're harvesting chili. So we'll hand pick these plants here. We'll bring in the wagons with the tractors. We got the KIOTI 140. I love this tractor. This thing's nice. And so yeah, we'll load up the bins. For this client, this chili goes for processing. And they chop it up, they put it in cans, and so we take off the stem. When it goes to fresh market, we leave on the stem like you see in your chile rellenos con cola, and so they'll have the stem on there for the fresh market when we do that. And so, yeah, plants look really good. This is our first pick, so we'll go through and pick the bottom. And then we'll wait a couple weeks, and then we'll pick the second pick, then the third pick, fourth pick. Right now, it is the 9th of July, and we'll be picking green chili through October, beginning of November, then we'll stop. But and this is a variety called Charger, very resistant, very good chili. It's got thick walls. You want it nice and thick, you know, for your chile rellenos and just chopped green chili, because they'll go toast it, roast it. En español se dicen tostar, entonces when I go back and forth English and Spanish, it's a little difficult, but and so you want these thick walls, and this variety has very thick walls, and that's what you want in a green chili. And so you got all that meat in that chile relleno para que se ponga bien bueno. Entonces, yeah. So got a lot going on. We'll get 3 chili loads out, 3 semis today of chili. Then we'll go to we'll get 8 onion loads out, white onions. And so, yeah, check it out. And right now it's just, as a farmer, when you got a lot going on, it's keeping your cool, keeping calm. There's a lot of movement. And so it's really important to have really good people, build a good team, build a good culture, and amazing systems. If you don't got systems, there's chaos. And so there's systems to get everything done, from the irrigations, we're planting beans, we're shipping semis, we're harvesting oats, and so harvesting onions. Got a lot going on, so systems, good people, and a calm mind as much as you can, man. All right, so yeah, this is the green chili. And we also got corn here on the other, in the field right behind the chili. So corn. Honestly, I don't know a lot about corn. I just plant it, irrigate it, fertilize it, come back and harvest it. If I could make a bunch of money growing corn, I would do a ton of corn. But it helps. It helps, but you know, there's not a lot of money in it because there's so much corn. There's a lot of supply, and so we rely a lot on our chili peppers, on our onion crops to pay the bills, land payments, and stuff like that. I would love it if the corn prices were amazing. I would just do a bunch of corn, because this might piss off some corn farmers, but it's fairly simple compared to my other crops. I used to think chili was the most difficult, and then I started onions. And so I would say easiest, like oats. We got oats out there. Then I would say beans. We're planting beans this week. We've got to get them in before July 15th. After that, after your grains and stuff like that, chili's pretty difficult because you got a lot of people, a lot of movement. It's more delicate. And then onions. Onions get pretty crazy here on the farm, and so on. But that's what pays the bills. And so it's kind of that risk reward. When there's more risk, there's more reward, less risk, less reward. And so I kind of balance it out with having a bunch of diversity here on the farm. And so, yeah, got to stay hydrated. So I drink a bunch of these. They don't pay me to say this. I'm not sponsored by them. I'll either put water and salt in the morning, drink just water and straight up sea salt, or my baby girl Lou, my wife, she buys me these. These are fantastic. And once again, they don't pay me to say that. I'm just giving you guys that work out in the heat a heads up. So coffee, water, and your minerals, you know, sodium, potassium, magnesium, especially if you got a lot going on in your mind, keep that mind greased with that magnesium. Same stuff that we put on the onion plants, chili plants. When it gets hot, you gotta keep them hydrated, get your minerals in. So it's early morning for the onion harvest. So what we do is we go through, we clip the tops, clip the roots, and just like that. We let them air out a little bit because in onions, you want them nice and dry. We'll clip them out for a couple hours, and before the sun gets too harsh, we'll try to get them up in the truck. You don't want them heating up in the sun in 100-degree weather. So you clip bright and early. We'll ship all the semis over here. And yeah, these are beautiful whites. So we'll ship them out, and this outer skin, this all falls off, it dries out, and then that's where underneath here you get your nice beautiful white onion, as you can see. And then from there, so they go to the onion shed where they pack them. So they clean them. Basically all this outer skin falls off, it dries out, it falls off, it's a nice beautiful white. And then they size them out for different sizes, like medium onion, jumbo, colossal, super colossal. Super colossals are, 5 inches, a jumbo 4.5 inches, and size them out and then ship them out to the clients. And so yeah, we'll go through this field right here, send out 8 loads of these onions, and we got whites, we got reds, and we got yellows, and we're harvesting every day from mid-May through the end of July. Every single day we try to get 8 loads out. And the main thing is quality. If you got quality, you just blow through it, go through it quick, everyone's happy. If you got any details, that it slows the process way down. And so we're always trying to get quality onions, produce quality onions so we don't have issues. And yeah, it gets crazy, baby. It gets crazy. It gets crazy, but we're almost done. We got about, what is it, 9th of July. We got 3 more weeks done, and we'll continue through with the chili harvest, but I'm ready to be done with onions. We've been going at it for quite a few weeks now, a month and a half, every single day. Well, not Sundays. And so, yeah, that's your onion harvest. In this field right here, we got yellows. You saw the whites over there. These are yellows. Yellows tend to be a lot bigger. See that? For a big old blooming onion, Outback Steakhouse or every restaurant has their different onion. And so these will be ready in about a week. But yeah, there's your yellow onion. And we've been doing, we switch back and forth every week with yellows, reds, and whites. We try to have all the colors every week of harvest. And so we have about 13 different varieties. This variety is Cimarron. This is an intermediate onion. We're in the intermediates right now. We're done with, in May and June, we do short days. And those are your earlier varieties that do well with a short day of sun. That's what it means. And then you have long day onions when the sun's out longer. And so yeah, that's where your blooming onion comes from. A lot of these go for like the restaurants and stuff. They chop them up, and so they like bigger onions to chop up, and they go into, yellows go into soups and stuff like that. Whites, you got, a lot of Mexican food. You got pico de gallo and stuff like that. And with the reds, you have like, it's a good flavor for a lot of different types of seafood. And so, and every country is different. We ship to USA, we sell here in Mexico. This year we've shipped to Guatemala, Honduras. And in Mexico, they love white onions. So they consume a ton of white onions. They're more picante, like spicier, picoso, more kick to them. And USA likes a ton of yellows, but now they're starting to like a lot of white onions because more Mexican food and stuff like that. And then wherever there's seafood, they like red onions. And so, but yeah, we try to go for, on these yellows, we always try to go for about 100 ton per hectare in yields. And that's, if we're getting 100 ton, we're doing all right. And just focus on nutrition, just like the body, where you got to balance out all their micros and macros, the NPK, which is nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, and potassium, then your micro elements, to have balanced nutrition, to have solid onion. You want solid onions. You don't even want your finger to be able to indent the onion. You want it nice and solid. And so, so they can make it to the store, and just focus on nutrition. Man, if I treated my body like I treated these onions, I'd be unstoppable. I just wish I wish I stick to a meal plan like we stick these onions to a meal plan. We'll be unstoppable, baby. And I'll show you how we harvest these. So once the onions are laid over, we'll go in the field. These will lay over, they'll dry out some more, but once they're ready, what these guys are doing in those white onions, they're clipping the top, and then they take off the roots, and then we put them in bins, dry them out, select them, sort them, and ship them out. But yeah, that's basically what they're doing in the fields. They're clipping the tops, the raíces, the roots, and then loading them up, shipping them out. ¿Cómo anda mi George? Llevo como 40 años trabajando con mi George. Él me enseñó los tractores, ¿verdad? Me enseñaste todo. Entonces, I'll switch back to English. So what we're doing here is we're rolling some onions. Usually we don't roll them, roll the tops over. But these we need to get out this week. They're about, I would say 70% laid over. So when the leaf lays over, that means they're ready, they're mature, they're ready to go. So if you see here, these are laid over on their own. The leaf is mature, it's grown as big as it's gonna grow. It's mature, it lays over. But there's about 10% still standing up. So we're gonna harvest these in 3 days. So we're gonna go ahead and just roll the ones over that haven't laid over. Because you don't want them growing when you're harvesting, because if they're still in growth mode and you harvest them, they can renacer, pues un rebrote. En inglés, ¿cómo se llama? Sprouts. They'll sprout. It's hard going back and forth in English. A ver, dale, George. Sí se ve bien. And so it doesn't damage the onions. It's just rolling over the tops. And so, yeah, that's what they look like. And so we'll cut off that growth, and so they don't sprout. Man, that's picoso. I'm about to cry over here, even with the glasses on. Picoso, spicy. But yeah, we'll go through and roll these. I'm not gonna roll the whole field, just what we got to get out in 3 days. And usually we let them lay over 100% on their own, and then we'll get in. But sometimes, especially if it's like a white onion or red onion, they're way more delicate, just like me, white and red, you know? And so when they're about 70% laid over, we'll roll the rest and get into harvest. And so that's my man, George. He's known me since I was a little kid. He's actually the one that taught me how to drive tractors. So grateful for good people. We're all just trying to do our best during harvest. It's been long hours. You know, there's a lot of days it's 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night. And we'll take a rest after harvest. Not too much, but we're always going doing something. But I'm just grateful for, you know, people with good attitudes, hardworking people. And you know, because of guys like that and the team the way it is, I mean, it produces a lot of jobs for a lot of people. And so you got, it's a whole chain effect. You know, to harvest this, you're contracting a lot of people, it gives them those family jobs. You got the trailer truck drivers, they get jobs for their fleets, and so they're happy. Then you got the clients, and then you got all your suppliers in town. You buy diesel and parts and stuff like that. And so when we do a good job, it provides jobs for the whole community. And so the days I'm super stressed out and want to give up farming or something like that, I got to think about, you know, all the jobs it creates for all the people here locally and down the chain as well. You know, like for example, these onions today, they'll go out to New Mexico, they'll get packed, and then so there's jobs there, and then they'll be shipped down to Dallas and distributed. So when you do a good job, it supplies good jobs for everybody. And so yeah, échale ganas. This year in onions, it's been pretty challenging on prices. There's a lot of onions. There's a ton of onions, and so the price hasn't been the best all season. And so that makes things challenging. What the issue is, there's just so much production. There's so much production, and so it's business is all supply and demand. And so when you get a huge supply of a certain crop, the price goes down. And yeah, it hasn't wanted to rebound for, I don't know. Right now we're in July 2025, and it's been pretty low throughout the winter, spring, into the summer, and in Mexico and in USA as well. And so, right now as farmers, you know, to be able to stay in the game, we've had to increase our yields. We've had to get better and more efficient every year. And so, and then there's also, you know, people that have grown more acreage. And so it's a double-edged sword. You're trying to stay in the game by yielding more as a farmer, and you're trying to produce more and more and more. But what that does is when there's more supply, then there's less demand. And so you're producing more, but then the price is going down because there's no scarcity. And so it's a double-edged sword. And so this year it's kind of been rough pricing wise, and even though I say, yeah, I'm shipping a bunch of trailer loads out, it's like, I won't really know, you know, if I made money until the pricing comes back and it's all shipped out. There's no details, because when there's a huge supply of onions, clients can be super picky, and so some people say, like, man, you've shipped out all these onions, you must be bowling, you know. I'm like, no, there's years you ship out a lot and you break even. There's years you make money. There's years you lose money, and that's just the nature of the game. And so as an entrepreneur, as a farmer, you're taking the risk. You're just doing the best possible job that you can, and keeping a good attitude. You have good years. You have years you break even, you have years you lose money. But right now in farming, it's kind of difficult across the board, because we're doing a good job. And so there's a lot of food. There's a lot of produce, there's great yields, and it's a double-edged sword. Is when there's too much supply, there's less demand. And so to fix the problem, all of us farmers need to just have an agreement, but it's impossible to happen. But just all grow half as much across the board, grow half your farm, make more demand for your crops, and we'll make the same amount of money and stay in business doing half as much. But to get everybody on board, it ain't gonna happen. And so it's just do your best. Do your best, and try to stay in the game as long as you can. So now we're in a red onion field. So in Spanish, esas son moradas. Morada is purple. Call them purple onions. In the U.S., they'll call them red onions. And they vary by varieties. Some varieties look a little bit more red. Some look a little bit more purple. But these are probably my favorite onions. And they're the most difficult to grow, because the red onion, just like me, we get sunburnt, and then, which isn't a big issue, but like everyone now, when you go to the grocery store, you want perfect looking to everything. And so that's very difficult. Even though if it gets sunburnt, it's still edible, it's still good, but people just, they like the aesthetics, you know. I don't blame them, I do too. I like things that look pretty. And so these aren't ready to harvest yet. We're gonna wait for them to lay down 60-70% when these tops lay over. That means when the girls, cuando las mijas se cuecen su cabello, quiere decir que ya están listas. And so when these onions, when the leaves fall over, it means they're ready to go. But flavor-wise, I gotta say, I like these red onions. They got the best flavor, and they're just beautiful. Let me cut one the other way so you can see how pretty they are. But yeah, all this outer stuff, and this white stuff right there, that's sunblock. It's a natural, it's a, what's it called? Kaolin? I don't know how to say it in English, but it's a natural sunblock you put on there to keep the sun off, because it gets freaking hot, and these will get sunburned. They will burn up. And so we put that on there just to keep them nice and beautiful. But yeah, all that stuff, it'll fall off. Cut them sideways, and you see that? That's just beautiful. That's just beautiful. And once they mature, that red marking, it gets stronger and stronger. So it's just you'll have those red rings without, and so it looks really good, tastes really good. This variety is variety 6005 from Dunham's. There's a bunch of different seed companies. This one is done really good as an intermediate. These are intermediates we've gone through all of our short days, but yeah, this will be the last field. This will be the last field we harvest, and I am looking forward to that. I'm gonna rest after this harvest season. You know, like it gets crazy with logistics and all this stuff, long hours and stuff like that. But the hardest part is keeping the mind calm. And so I'm gonna rest my mind and just, I don't know, go lay up on a beach or go to the mountains or something after harvest and just decompress. But yeah, crops look great. Got weeds. In our intermediates, we tend to get more weeds. You get rains and stuff like that, and then we get really busy to weed them out. And so it doesn't look perfect. And I like to show this in my videos, because if you're just always showing perfect fields, it's just not the reality. It's not perfect. Sometimes you get perfect fields. In my short day onions, we don't get as much weeds, but in these intermediates you do. But yeah, I don't really like the Instagram effect where people just put up all their perfection, and then, you know, people are comparing yourself to these unrealistic perfect videos and pictures. And so I, you know, as a farmer, I like to show, you know, we got weeds out here. It ain't perfect. This is reality, you know? And so, yeah, so there was your purples, your red onions, moradas in español, your whites, and your yellows. Here we got yellows, we got reds, we got whites. I'm just peeling off the outer layers so you can see what they look like. Gotta get them naked. Gotta get them naked and look nice and pretty. When they dry down, they look beautiful. You gotta let them dry down, and you'll just have a beautiful solid red color, yellow, and a white. So yeah, this is what they look like before. Cut the tops, kind of peel them back. But when they dry down, they're just a really beautiful color. And el chiste de cebollas, mantenerlos secos. You want to keep them dry. You want to keep them dry. And so, like, there's a few different things, like in the field to keep them dry. You can harvest them into burlap sacks. The wind goes through them, dries them down, or you just ship them direct to the packing shed, and they'll have fans and stuff just blowing air through. You don't want them moist. You don't want them moist. You want to keep onions nice and dry, and they'll last quite a long time. But yeah, there you go. These are the colors of onions that we harvest. This is a Sierra Blanca. This is a Nunham's 6005. This is a Cimarron. Like I said, this year I think we did about 13 different varieties. Sometimes we do 20. And that's just so you have varieties that mature every week to keep the flow of the harvest going. So we're also spraying. We got the KIOTI there, high clearance tractor, thin wheels, just so you can go over the crops. And so yeah, you want the alto espeje, high clearance. And so yeah, we got a lot going on the farm. So you got the spraying, you got planting, you got harvesting, you got accounting, you got all the stuff. And so there's no dull moment. This is interesting. This is how we apply our fertilizers. We'll have these tanks. So you have your calcium, your potassium, your nitrogen. And so we'll put those into these tanks and then inject them into the fields in our drip irrigation. Don't mind that field in the back, because we need to get those weeds down, man. But yeah, it's been wild, but it's good. It's healthy. Healthy, stay busy. Healthy, stay creating. Some people on social media, like on my Instagram, Facebook. I don't check Facebook too much, but on Instagram, I'll check my DMs every once in a while, and people be like, "Hey, what do you think about what's going on in the world over here and over there, and this battle and that problem, blah blah blah?" And I'm just like, man, I'm farming. Like I'm busy, you know, farming, being there for my family, and some people get mad that I don't chime in on politics on social media, but I think everybody just needs to get busy creating your life and turning out. Like, I turned off the news in 2012. As soon as I figured out, I was like, it's all bullshit. manipulation, fear tactics to control people. I just kind of tuned out the news and just started focusing on my businesses, on my family, on myself, on my friends. And the best decision I ever made is not even pay attention to the news. Best decision I ever made. And some people get pretty upset. Why aren't you chiming in on this subject or this or what happened over here and there? Like, shit, I'm busy. I'm busy out here. If I chimed into all that stuff, I'd go crazy and people wouldn't have jobs here, you know? And so I'm keeping the farm going and family healthy, myself healthy, and yeah. So yeah, if you feel like just tuning out the news, just let it go. It's just a big distraction. And if it causes you fear, it's because people control through fear. Simple as that. All right, let me show you these chili fields. So this is on plastic. The plastic helps out on saving water. You'll have an earlier harvest by, I don't know, 7 to 14 days because it controls the weather. But yeah, check out the plants. You can't really see underneath there too well with all the leaves, but they're loaded up. So we're gonna go through, you know, make it easier. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna pull one out so you guys can see. And so this is what they look like underneath. And so we're gonna go through and we're gonna do the first pick. Pick all these bottom ones that are mature. You know by the color, when they start getting darker and you can't really crack them, then they're mature. And so we'll go through, pick the bottom canopy, then it'll relieve the plant a little bit and then they'll start producing more in the middle. And so we'll go through and pick this plant 4 different times. Start at the bottom, work yourself up, and we'll pick these. And then these plants will eventually get about this high and they'll probably actually close in right here. And so this is the first pick, July 9th. And but you can see they're loaded up. You have a little damage from the heat. There was a week it got super hot, and so they'll get the bottom, la punta seca. And but yeah, you can tell these plants they're loaded up. We'll come through here in a few days. These are almost ready. We're gonna let them mature out a little bit. This is variety's Charger. I really like this variety. We have a few different varieties this year. But yeah, that's what your chili plant looks like. And these are almost ready to harvest. So here in the office, and so it's most of the day in the fields, and then we got to go organize everything. So here with Ankala, she's the one that makes all this, everything function.
I know.
Yes, she's a pro. I'm not that organized, and so thank God for Ankala. She organizes everything. She loves it when everything's just cuadrado. How do you say that in English? When everything sums up, when you sum it all up. And so how's the season going?
It's good. It's better than I thought it was going to be.
Is it better than last year?
Yeah. I think like we have the experience now and it's just like going smoothly.
Yeah. And so like, that's why systems are so important. So we got good systems in place. And so to build up your system, it takes time. But now, you know, with more experience, yeah, this year's been flowing. This year's been flowing. It hasn't been as stressful. Yeah, there's always stress, but yeah, if you say it's going good, then it's going good.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to not have stress.
Yeah.
And these months like
what do you do for stress? How do you manage your stress?
I just chill now.
You chill?
Years before I used to like just like overstress, like crying.
Yeah, I feel you. I've cried too in harvest.
But now it's just like, you know what, like you always feel like it always, like there's always a way to solve this. So
yeah.
It's gonna work out.
It all works out.
And it solves out.
Yeah, and so systems are huge because if not, it's chaos. And so we focus on systems for logistics, systems for accounting, systems for harvesting, for planting. Now there's AI, so we're going to be involving AI more. And so if you have good structure and systems, less stress. Other thing, like I got to go for a run in the evenings, clear my mind. Sometimes I'll do like breath work and stuff. So always just trying to to clear up energy and keep flowing. But it's going, baby. It's going. We're having a good year. So more experience than, I guess, the calmer you are.
Yeah, the better you take that.
Yeah.
The then you stress everything.
Heck yeah. Yeah, if I'm stressed ever, like a lot of people are stressed or feel stressed. So the biggest thing is just staying calm, staying organized. Thank God for uncles, staying organized. That's not my talent. I like to create and be on the move. And then other people's talents are keeping everything organized. And so I know what I'm talented in and what I'm not.
I like it.
And you love organization, which it's a badass team. It's a badass team to keep everything organized. And so office work as well. Got one of the nozzles that's plugged up. Gotta unplug it. Got some junk in there. These got filters and they get plugged up. So clean them out. Ahora sí va a jalar. T-jet sprayers, nozzles. If these get plugged up, then you don't get the correct application. Ahora sí. My summer job growing up was dumping chili buckets. And that's how I stayed in shape for basketball season. During the summers, I'd be in the chili fields here with my dad, working. And so I didn't play football because I wouldn't get to school in the US on time until first day of school. So the way I stayed in shape, just working. And I would get to school and strong and fit and had cardio and all that. And what it was is just like this guy over here. That's what I was doing. It's nonstop, dumping chili buckets, full body workout. You got your cardio in. And so if you want to lose weight, if you want to get fit, if you want to get your cardio, get some strength, there's some jobs here on the farm. Just come over here. And you don't have to pay membership. We'll actually pay you. So it's actually better than going to the gym. And then you're out in the sun, getting sunlight. Ahí llegó el otro Vikingo. ¿Cómo anda? Al 100, no quiere hablar en cámara. Well, yeah, I would do this all summer long. But yeah, you can see the fields behind us. This is how we harvest. Been doing this since I think we started green chili when I was 14 years old, dumping buckets all day long. And so I used to work for my dad. Now I'm a few years ago, started buying this farm from my dad. And so still dumping chili buckets and making the world a happy place with chili peppers.